Happy New Year, bird nerds. Thanks for joining me. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. Oh, today, let's just relax a little bit. Are you feeling seedy? Let me know. What did you do last night? Um, uh, Depending on where you are, it might still be nighttime. Um, I know while I was out buying lorikeet supplies this morning, um, that the countdown for New York, I think, was just happening. Forgive me looking over there. I'm just checking on the bird. If you were with me yesterday afternoon, last night, you would know while we were streaming, my housemate was tapping on the window, which is like right there, and I had my blind down, so I couldn't see him. And he told me that he had a lorikeet in his hand. He'd found a lorikeet, rainbow lorikeet. And I thought it must have been like a bird strike victim, or maybe, I just thought bird strike, basically. I thought it must have hit a window, or maybe had been grabbed by a cat or something. But no. So, what we have, to fill you in, because now it successfully got through the night, and I went out this morning and got a whole lot of treats. But because it's New Year's Day, I couldn't get all the things that I need. Interim name is Loz. Let me know if you think that's a good idea for lorikeet. The other suggestion is Nye, Nye, because it turned up on New Year's Eve. I made a little hidey hole up the top of my closet, and we had this little timber little. It's worked out as a perch and somewhere to put some water and some treats, and it's quite happy with it. The bird is tame and the bird is young, so it's obviously it's either a fledgling that has lost its way, or it's a pet, because it always wants to run up and sit on my shoulder when it's not eating. I think it's a pet. So we're on the lookout for anybody who has lost a lorikeet in this area. But so far, no word. I'm happy to take on lorikeet daddy duties if we can't find an owner. So I'll have to go and get a permit and all that stuff. And I guess there's a vet check and all that in order. I have discovered did not show any interest in a lovely big callistemon bloom that I bought in today to surprise the fella. But does love pear. I've sliced up bits of pear and strawberries. Mad for strawberries. I did look up what treats to get. He's got an apple coming later on. Loves the nectar mix. Couldn't find the dry mix. If anyone knows a reliable place to buy the lorikeet / honey eater dry mix, please put it in the comments, because everywhere I've visited that said it was a stockist hasn't had it around here. Anyway, thank you for the Facebook love, Naomi. Happy New Year to you. Folks, I don't want to read a whole lot of articles. We might have a look at some headlines. I want to know what you would like to see happen this year, 2024. And let's see if we can find some good threads, some good stories, some things to focus on. And I'm open to suggestions what you would like to see me do with the channel. I am going full on with lots of expert, researchers and project directors and people to be interviewed. As many live streams as can possibly be done. But I basically haven't done any paid work since April. So I'm on the bones of my bum, and I am taking on a couple of new like podcast clients and what do we call it? Actually, live stream clients, like directing, producing their live streams. So that'll keep me fairly busy, and I'm going to branch out into a couple of other channels doing things that I like to do. If you don't know, that's my plan. My plan in the medium to long term is to just exist, having fun, sharing knowledge, sharing experiences, hopefully making a small impact. Boy, I'm looking red today. I should have put something on I should have put a filter on, but bugger it. Hoping to advance the conservation cause, and get less grumpy. Let's get less grumpy. Oh, who else has given us some Facebook love? That background. Just two. Is that just? Oh, here we go. Hello, Glenn. Good to see you. Oh, here we go. Comments are coming. Naomi. Yes, glad to hear Loz is doing well. There's several lost pets in Melbourne group on Facebook. Yes, I'll have a look in there. I'm sort of concentrating more on the very local area. This bird must be lost from, if it's lost, from very, very close by, I would say, because it was just waddling around on the ground. So it might have just climbed a fence. That's how it gets around. I haven't seen it fly at all, but it does waddle around, pull itself around with its beak. I've linked up some ropes here from behind the monitor to over behind the perch, off to another shelf, and I'll rig one up later on from the curtain rail over to the door of the wardrobe of the closet, and if he's here long term, she virtually impossible to sex them without doing a genetic test. So maybe that will happen after the vet check. I'll see what it costs, to be honest. So there we go. So tomorrow, with being the first sort of work day back, we'll ring around the local vets, see if anyone has contacted them about a lost bird. Right, your turn. Hang on, your turn. There we go. I'm looking at the screen. Your turn. What do you wish for in terms of conservation this year? My wish is pretty simple. My wish is just for governments. It's broader than governments. It's people who have the ability to make a difference, decision makers. If they say they care, that they actually get serious, because I don't want to revisit yesterday's conversation, but I think we tolerate just half-assed and PR bullshit instead of real action and real commitment. I might be on my own there. I might be selling people short, but I really think we just aren't getting real commitment to action. We're just getting platitudes. Anyway, it's up to you. And if we don't get some comment and some interaction, it'll be an early afternoon, and we can just have a nice relaxing time. I'm looking forward. Tomorrow I should get a little clamp for the camera, and I should be able to then put the camera in between the two monitors, and I'll be able to just be a bit more comfortable with looking at the two monitors and talking. Another Facebook love. We must be. Are we doing well on? Hello, Katie Anderson. Haven't seen Katie in the chat for a while. Nice to see you. Happy New Year, Glenn. Wish would be that all new developments have a minimum trees per block and actual green space gardens in each property rather than black roofs. Yeah, I think we even need to be more sophisticated than saying trees. I think we need to be able to, and Glenn, with your sort of history of work, you might know what the terminology is, but stems per hectare or trees looks at one problem, and it's always the obvious problem. But we need to link it somehow to a biodiversity index, like vegetation biodiversity. Because without vegetation biodiversity and ground cover and mulching, whether it be natural or as part of horticultural cultivation techniques, management techniques, you don't get all the other things that are required for a healthy sort of mini ecosystem. And it also needs to be more targeted. It's we had this conversation, I think, with Holly, and also I think with Ricky a while ago. If you're new to the channel, Holly Parsons, Monday with Holly, has been a regular look over the past couple of years now with Urban Birds on a Monday, and I have Ricky Coughlin from Aussie Wild Bird Tours talking about just the ins and outs of bird watching, really, and fairly broad conversations. But if the vegetation being put in to any new development is not it's not aimed at promoting particular species to use it, well, then maybe all we're doing is promoting invasive species. And invasive species can be native species. You know, maybe we'll just be left with suburbs that are filled with sulphur-crested cockatoos, magpies, currawongs, noisy miners, wattlebirds, and rainbow lorikeets, and not a lot else. So I take your point, Glenn, and I pretty much agree. I just think we have the skills, and the information is there, I think, now for people to be able to not just do right. Every suburban block of this minimum size must have at least 7 trees. Okay. What about paving? What about water infiltration again into the soil? What about also saying you have to eradicate pest species because that's when the easy time is. It's easier to do it at that start of a development than to try and come and do it later on. So yeah, I've got, but I agree. Um, Naomi, isn't it possible to turn the level on my mic up? It certainly is, Naomi. It certainly is. I haven't changed anything from last night, but maybe. Is that better? Would just give me a thumbs up, or is it too loud? Let me know. Oh, you've got cicadas at your place. Okay. Everybody else, am I now too loud? Am I blowing you up? All right, Glenn. Interesting. Let's see. The area my mother lives in, which she built over 60 years ago now, as people move on, the houses are pulled down and duplexes are put up, taking up the whole block. Absolutely. That's the story of my street. So all the trees are gone. And I was whinging about this the other day. There were two really significant Grevillea robustas in the street, and two really significant, are they still Eugenia smithii or are they Acmena smithii? Lily pillies. And there was I'm not sure what the eucalypts were. There were two eucalypts in adjoining backyards. So they were close together, canopies touching. And when those places were sold, all those mature trees came down. So, and that's really changed the nature of this street. You can go to our old backyard now and look down a row of backyards and all the way to the train line. Yep. She now notices there's no bird life apart from the one she just mentioned. Yeah, that and that I think is I think that's what's happening pretty much everywhere, Glenn. Yep. All right, great. Thanks, Naomi. Just let me know if I'm blowing your ears out, everyone else. Okay, so that's Glenn's wish, that we get some local planning laws that mandate trees, but let's broaden it out to vegetation, some kind of vegetation index. I have another wish for the year, and this is maybe a bit meta because I'm a podcaster slash streamer. I'd like to see more people with platforms and voices doing more than soft and cuddly communication about nature and conservation. Conservation, particularly the causes of the loss. I mean, just yesterday is a really good example of what we did in the stream. I ran through the conversation and the Guardian because that's where all the information, in terms of what we would think of as, well, they're independent media, but they're still fairly mainstream media. That's where the content is. It's not in the major dailies. It's not on the morning TV shows. It's not on, 60 Minutes, Current Affair, 7:30 report even. The nature is just not a story that people want to talk about unless they can tie it to something else like turning a farm around or something like that. It's always seems to be linked in a way to economics. Now, maybe that's just where we are. That's always been my fear, why I bang on about it so much. Maybe that's where we are. Maybe we are only going to get nature on on the terms of the economy. If nature is good for the economy, we can have that bit of nature. Nature that costs money or doesn't generate economic potential, well, maybe nobody cares about keeping that. I don't know. But I just hope more people are prepared to broaden the discussions we have, and that might mean losing sponsors or losing some sort of professional relationships. But I thought, yeah. Okay, who's next? What have we got? We got people on all the platforms. Who's here from YouTube? Say hello. Tell me your wish for the year. The Twitter X's. Tell me your wish, conservation or environment wish, or hell, any wish. Tell me your wish in your. What's your wish in your personal life? I don't do those I don't really have a wish for the personal life or anything this year. I have an aim, I guess. I'd like to spend more time actually meeting the people that I interview and talk about this year than just doing it through the camera and over the interwebs. Yeah, and don't forget the other thing I asked you to tell me is what you would like me to develop on the channel. Yeah, it's fair enough if you say steady as she goes. I'm happy with that, but I feel quite bad about virtually nothing except live streams being done in, or what was it, May, June, what was that, 5, so 7 months. I've got to rehydrate too. Spent too long talking and not doing it. Oh, hello, Loz. Oh, Loz is waking up. Very full crop. Oh, he's having a stretch, or she is having a stretch. Very good. Very good. Sorry. I will. One of the things I'm going to do in the next few days is rig up my iPhone and maybe another camera to. If Loz is going to be around, he's going to be in this room with me a lot while I'm streaming. So I was looking for a perch, a stand, but I couldn't find one out there today. So we'll have Loz cam. I think that will be. That could be fun. Do you do the New Year resolutions? Anybody? Naomi, I'll put that one on you. Glenn, also, you can get the ball rolling. Do you do New Year's resolutions? I'm going to spend more time doing photography because I've got the camera now, the really nice camera. I'll bed down the workflow, which the new workflow starts tomorrow with First Seen and Heard, and we'll see how that goes, and being more consistent with communicating about so many of the amazing people. And when I put that little video together yesterday of all the past episodes, and not actually all the past episodes, just the ones that I had the artwork easy to grab and that were all on video, didn't have all the ones that were just audio only from the early days. I've spoken to a lot of people. It's and I haven't gone back and remade short content to talk about those birds and those either the issues that those species confront or the projects that those guests have been driving, have been working on, and it's time for a lot of those people who now 2 years have passed. We need updates, I believe. So that is, I guess that's my resolution, just to better utilise the resource that's already been built up and to really promote it more. Yeah. Oh, okay, Naomi. You chronically fail at them, usually within a day. Are they the kind of resolutions like I'm going to give up drinking, or I'm going to walk 4 kilometres every day, or I'm going to go to the gym every morning before work? Is that what you mean? Glenn, no New Year's resolutions as such, but a few aims or goals. Good. Knock off a few of the missing birds from the shot list of the birds of the Australian Botanic Gardens at Mount Annan. I want to come up there and check it out. 170 of the 197 known bird species to visit the gardens. That's pretty amazing. You've almost kicked into 200. That's huge. To improve and develop my habitat back garden. Well, let's do that together, Glenn. Let's follow your journey, and hopefully it'll match out with mine. Just to a preempt, I've been working already on the video for Saturday for habitat gardening, and we will be looking at my list, and I'll be showing you a bunch of the pots that I already have, and I go scrounging whenever I see people putting big tubs out on the nature strip. That's the thing around here. Everyone puts their pots and things out on the nature strip, and someone from nearby quickly scrounges them. Lots of backyard gardeners around here growing vegetables and things. So, yeah, that's good. Okay, so to continue with my photographic catalogue of all the native plant species within the Botanic Gardens as well, and to run the photography workshops at Mount Annan. There's a fair bit going on there, I think, Glenn. That's a lot. That is a lot. But I think achievable because they're all linked, right? So they all lean on each other. So if you're getting one done, you're probably getting another one done. A lot of photograph processing. I won't ask you about that now. We'll cover that when we get you on Photography Friday. Naomi, I think your comment here is very similar to mine, that you wish more people would give a hoot about the environment. Yeah, I think people, if you ask them, say they care about the environment. The next question needs to be, what are you doing to make it better? That's the, and then what are you making the people who should be making the difference? What are you doing to make them do it? Why am I not getting? Obviously, my Sorry, I'm not seeing my. You're obviously hearing me, so it's not a problem. I'm just not seeing things working like they were supposed to. All right, Naomi. I don't think goals like that are silly. I don't think having goals for exercise and diet. Oh, all right. Since we're all being personal, I'm going back and redoing the Fast 800 diet again, which I was doing before I went away with Millie, and I lost a lot of weight, but I've put it all back on. So it's very expensive to get started to do something like that, because you have to basically clear out your cupboard, and then you have to go and buy the stock that you need to get going. And this diet is the one that, and diet's the wrong word. It's just a lifestyle shift that Michael Mosley had promoted, and it was fantastic for me, and easy to do and stay on. Particularly when you've already done all those changes in life where you don't drink, and you basically don't eat rubbish already. You drink a lot of water. I have to ease up on the coffee. That's the only thing which is difficult. But today's a no coffee day, so that it makes it easier to only limit to one from tomorrow. So that's good. And when I was out shopping today, it's so expensive, because I had to stock up on salmon and things like chorizo and pork sausages, all things that I haven't been eating for a long time. It's not easy to substitute for the tofu, for all the things that are on, because you have to get the complex fats. Anyway, just stocking up the pantry has been very expensive in the last. I've been slowly doing it over a couple of weeks, but now I'm pretty well right. I've got nearly 2 months worth of stuff that isn't, except for the fresh, to get going. So back to the early morning walks, back to the first seen and herds, and cooking, restricting to 800 calories a day for a period of time, and then you do that for a period of days, and then you have a couple normal days and go back. So anyway, was massively successful last time, and my doctor held me up as a model for everyone else. But then I went away, and that really stuffed everything up. Not that I regret it at all. It's just very difficult to do something like that when you're in remote parts of the country. Okay, Naomi, I try to educate via Birds in Backyards group. I often do posts about planting for small birds. I always try to discuss habitat and environment online. Apart from that, at the moment, I do very little, I guess. Naomi, you're certainly not the person or the people that I am thinking about. Your support work with Birds in Backyards and everything is really effective, and Birds in Backyards particularly, I think, is a really effective forum. But I think we need to break out, and this is where people who have a high public profile, who are already talking to hundreds of thousands of people, need to be prepared to, maybe ruffle a few feathers, for want of another term. And I'm not gonna single people out. I just think that there's a general reluctance for a lot of people to. And they don't have to be confrontational or aggressive or anything, but there's just messages that the media doesn't want to hear, and that because so many of the people that we admire in this field are reliant on money from either corporate donors or sponsors, or their employers are some way reluctant. And that's just how corporate culture is. I would just like to see some more independence. Glenn, I planted at the backyard last year, so it's all in the growth stage. Plenty of banksias and acacias, a few waratahs. I'll stop there. Oh, and firewall trees. Okay, fantastic. Stenocarpus. Which Stenocarpus are you growing? tree ferns, native grasses. Tell me the native grasses you're growing. Have you got a Poa, Danthonia, Themata, Garnia? Are you using the Lamandras, Dianellas? Even though I know Dianellas and Lamandras aren't grasses, but let's just kangaroo paws, a few ground cover insect attracting plants, etc. All planned out and in the growth stage now. Starting to see the bird life coming in. The first of my Corimbia have just flowered. Okay, tell me about the Corimbia as well. Are you doing any of the grafted specialties? Little wattle birds have already found it. That's great. There's a dwarf Corimbia. For those of you who aren't plant nerds, Corimbia is the new name for a group of eucalypts that include the red flowering gum and the lemon scented gum, the spotted gum, some of the bloodwoods, all those big red, not all red, but the big showy flowers in that, and big gum nuts, all bigger gum nuts is, anyway, Corimbia. That's a group of eucalypts. They're no longer eucalyptus, they're Corimbias. But the red flowering gum is the one that is commonly available in nurseries and you often see it now as small street trees out the front of restaurants. They'll have, and they're all now coming into flower. I've got one. There's one around the corner. I'm wondering if I'll grow one in the front yard, but I think I might go for some of the smaller sort of mallee style eucalypts. I haven't made up my mind. Or I was considering, Glenn, maybe are you into doing grafting? I was considering doing a graft of maybe if I could get the compatible the right species, doing a seasonal flowering specimen. I'm doing that with grevillea. I've already started with the grevillea robusta as the rootstock. Sorry if I'm talking above you if you're not a plant nerd, but oh, here he comes. Oh, he's found the rope. Fantastic. Good on you. Good on you, Loz. I don't know if you heard all that flapping. Loz has found the rope. Hasn't come up to he's on the rope now that comes up to the back of the monitor and would come over to here. So we'll wait and see. I think Loz he's got a very full crop. I think he might be going to have a sleep. Oh no, he's gone back. He's gone back over to his treats. All right. But that's good. I was hoping he'd find the rope and we could work out that was a way to get around. Excellent. All right, I can probably drop off that that banner now, can't I? We don't need to have that there. All right. Tell me about the Stenocarpus, Glenn, and how did you do your selection of things like acacias? Were you looking at local species, or did you have something in mind particularly to promote? We started talking about this yesterday, didn't we? Small plants for small parrots. Some of the acacias are great for that if they set lots of seed. Yeah, Glenn, you're right. Georgina is a good one. I wasn't aware of the second book. I haven't seen her Second book with Australian Geographic. I did reach out to Georgina really, really early in the days of the bird emergency, and we couldn't. Actually, to be honest, I don't think I got a reply. But she's on my list. She's on the whiteboard over there for people to get on. Yep. She uses her social media to push the protection of endangered wetlands and bird protection. So a good one to follow. That's true. Yeah, I think that I'd love to see someone like, Pat Cummins or someone with that kind of profile and ability to influence kids really get outspoken. Look, good on him. He did embark on that. A lot of the netballers too, but I don't think the sports people are the ones I'm really thinking about. It's just there's so many influences, and there's so many people in loosely academia who are getting regular gigs on media, but it's still very much the soft stories that get talked about. Yeah. I have seen some of the regional ABC stations starting to be a little bit more adventurous. Hopefully that can continue. Yeah, it's extremely difficult. But I just would like to see that every day, every morning on these morning shows, and every time that the news does something, instead of getting rehashed stuff about some fire in Philadelphia, just because they've got vision from social media, just because they've got pictures, they run the story. That shouldn't be in our news. I mean, it would be insane if someone from Philadelphia in their local news bulletin was getting shots of a fire in St Albans where 2 houses were destroyed and a gas bottle blew up. I mean, that would just be loopy. Why are we seeing stuff like that? Why are we seeing accidents and traffic jams traffic jams around the world? Make your caught on camera or your webcam special that they, caught on webcam. There's shows for that. Why do we need it in the news? Anyway, but I would love to see them maybe, a daily or at least a weekly session on the environment, other than going to Australia's zoo, for crying out loud. Glenn, a second book is called For the Love of Flora. She used one of your images. Oh, good. With a bird. Thanks for that, Glenn. I'll talk to you off stream about that. And I have to book myself in for a tour of Mount Annan. So long since I was there. Gee, when was I there? 94 or 5, I think, was the first time I went, and I think I went maybe 97, 98, I think. Long time. So it must look so different. It was only I'd have to go back and see what I wrote about it at the time, but I don't think much of the planned planting and development had even been started back then. I'm just gonna look it up, because I think one of my got a feeling that one of the guys I went through Burnley with was up there for a while. I'm just going to look him up. Bear with me, folks. Glenn, is that your shot of the musk lorikeets on the front page of the web page for Mount Annan? It's a while since I've been on the Mount Annan website. Yeah, good website too, by the way. Good website. Naomi, I'm surprised you weren't already following Georgina. Hello, Betty. Planted a Sydney wattle today. Acacia pycnantha. Is that the one you? Oh, that's golden wattle. What's the Sydney wattle? Glenn, tell me. Did not realise that small birds feed on the seeds. Only worry that they could take over, and may have thousands. Starry Night Tea Tree. Is that a new cultivar? Yeah, it must be. Yeah, huge white flowers. What you'll find with the tea trees, with the leptospermums, is insects love them, and so if insects love them, the birds love them. And if it's a prickly one, if it's one of the prickly ones, birds will use it. They will certainly use it. The Sydney wattle, the Sydney golden wattle. There's only like 780 of them or something in Australia to know all the names. That's great, Betty. Betty, I don't know if you caught the comment earlier. I've already started working on the short video that we'll be talking about on Saturday morning in habitat gardening. So and I've made the outline for the parakeets and small parrots, grass parrots and king parrots, etc. So okay, good. So I got that one right. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm not sure I ever knew it as the Sydney golden wattle, but just golden wattle, Acacia pycnantha. Garden Explorer is good. Okay. All right. Well, Glenn, I'll be pottering around the website and also the Sydney Botanic Garden website. I might get a trip booked. Come up and take some photos. That would be good. Yes, Naomi, this is a comment for you. Sorry, Betty, this is a comment for you for sure. If insects are around, you get heaps of gorgeous little insectivores. You'll also get lots of other critters as well. Excellent. And of course, you get bats, lizards, frogs, spiders, everything. Insects drive everything, really. And soil flora. But of course, you're on, what was it, 170 acres, so I'm assuming you've got lots of leaf litter in some of the areas and building up the microbiome. Marvellous. Well, we're something I'm discovering is we tend to be talking more and more about plants every time we start talking about birds and conservation. That is good. We need to make sure that insects and pollination are part of the story as well. So that's really good. Yeah. Okay, any other comments you folk would like to make about the positive wishes for the year? I'd like to see. I'll tell you what else I'd like to see. I'd like to see someone in Australia doing something along the lines of what the BBC Natural History Unit do all the time. And I'd love to see more of that kind of content that's coming up from other places in the world. So much of the shows that are wildlife shows are all just using the footage from the BBC, or that the BBC must have commissioned, and it just gets reused in show after show after show, and it's just a different narration. And I think now we're so used to that David Attenborough style of show that the next level, where they really dive in deep and get granular into the local problems, the local issues, and some of the solutions, I don't think those shows are really getting made, except there's piles of them on YouTube and on some of the sundry channels and some of the streaming services, but that still misses the people we really need to get to make a difference, because I think we still have to rely on electoral politics in a lot of ways to push probably the next 2 election cycles to really push for action. I don't know, I'll just have a look. We've had a bit more Facebook love. Oh, is that Donna? Is that... You keep changing your nicknames and things, so I think that's Donna. Katie, Katie, you haven't chimed in with what you would like to see this year. Positive messages for conservation and birds and plants and our urban community. Oh, I just had a look at Loz. Loz has just destroyed the 2 pieces of pear I gave it before we started streaming, but he hasn't attacked he, she, I don't know. Sorry, I'm going to probably always substitute he. Have not seen it get into the strawberry yet. Got a very messy face, covered in chewed up pear. Extraordinary. Okay, Glenn, Sydney wattle is a species that I put in the backyard. Tried to have a lot of the local ones in the backyard. Also have a few leptospermums. Let's explore the leptospermums, Glenn. Have you got Petersonii, the lemon-scented leptospermum, one of my favourites? A great one for creating habitat is the Juniperinum horizontalis variety, because it forms layers when it grows, so it sort of grows up and then shoots out branches that go out horizontally. That's why it's called horizontalis, funnily enough, and can form really great protective spaces for small birds. iNaturalist is doing a study on native bees, particularly ground nesting solitary bees. I think they're wanting to get an idea about the substrate they require. Photos can be put on Be Aware of Your Native Bees, Australia. Interesting study, like the Christmas beetle study. Yeah, the Christmas beetle one, I mean, that's been going quite a few years now, I think. So uh, I would like to just talk about that when they get some results out. Uh, very, very, very good. Do you have any solitary ground nesting or ground dwelling native bees at your place, Naomi? I haven't really noticed them around here. Chris, well, um, Chris, this is exactly what I was thinking about. Chris, and welcome, Chris. Happy New Year to you too. Proper scientific Australian documentaries without all the cutesy stuff. Yeah, without the need to address. They're all travel logs now, in a way, and maybe that's what gets the eyeballs. I don't know. I mean, I don't. I'm not. I'm not drawing enough eyeballs to know, but I wonder if that's why, or maybe it's how you get to be subsidised or win the conversations in the meetings where you have to fight for funding to get your program made. Maybe it has to be a travel-y one. Harry Butler is exactly who I was thinking of, Chris. Those of us of a certain age. And the other one which I used to really, really enjoy was Bush Tucker Man, Les Hiddens. Now, he had a particular slant, but he really went into, explained so much about the life cycle of the plants he talked about, that you really learned a lot from them. You didn't just think, oh, gee, that's a nice place. I really like that place in Northern Australia where he is. Yeah. So, yeah. And Naomi has the blue banded bee. Fabulous. I haven't noticed any around here, but I'm sure if I spent enough time in the linear park, which follows the transmission line, it's been really cleared, but I reckon there's probably some areas where I might find some. I'm going to get out and have a good look around. Oh, that's one of the other things I have to change too, is I have to spend less time sitting at the computer and more time out there. Yeah, that was the habit from the pandemic. Wow, this bird absolutely. I'll rig up the camera later on so we can have Loz cam. I can probably have a box where we can just see what Loz is up to all the time. Yeah. It's very entertaining. Very entertaining. A stingless bee. That's new, totally outside of my area of expertise. I would like to know more about the native bees. Chris, you made a comment on one of the vids a while ago when I was taking my break about the bird names for birds. I do take your point on that. That should we have that conversation now, or should we leave that for another day? I'm all for taking names like Major Mitchell off, and I think where there's a point. I think if there is a ornithologist or someone who deserves to have an honorific name connected to that species, I'm not against that, but I am against Lady Amherst pheasant, stuff like that. I think every species has to be reviewed on its merits, but I think I think it makes sense with more people getting into bird watching casually and trying to have something that translates globally. It makes more sense to have a sort of a descriptive name for a bird than an honorific name for someone who may have been someone who we would not be giving an honorific to now. The Scott Morrison Bird of Paradise. No, I don't think so. Mussolini's Tree Creeper. I don't think just the passage of time. I just think we can do better. That's my thought. And so, but if it's honouring an ornithologist who has worked on that species or that genus or someone who's achieved really significant things in that field, I don't have a drama with that. I don't think most people do. And I don't think it's terribly woke either, by the way. Leptospermum scoparium, a beauty. Leptospermum spectabile. Leptospermum rotundifolium. I do like rotundifolium very much. Grasses, Lemandra. So you've got the cultivars. Are they Aussie breed? Carimbia are both grafted dwarfs. Okay. Have you got the red, the orange, or the pink, or the white? That would be interested to know. Stingless bees can only fly once the temperature reaches a certain point, anything below a certain temp, and they are grounded waiting for the temperature to rise. There's a small hive of them in the gardens at Mount Annan. So they're kind of like reptiles, only they're not reptiles. Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's a really interesting fact, Glenn. So that's the kind of stuff that I'd love to see just crop up on the morning TV shows in between cash giveaways and pointless travelling around Australia and annoying school kids in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm such an old fart, aren't I? Yeah. Let's get back on point. Any other, Betty? If you're still with us, what's your conservation wish for the year? That's why the stingless bees don't live further up in the Blue Mountains. Okay, that's a good fact. I think I'm going to have to open up the strawberry for Carimbia red and pink. The pinks are in flower now. The reds, they're actually the orangey colour one that's in flower around the corner from me now, Glenn. We're getting new people in. I love seeing it. Hello, Twitch. Someone from Twitch has joined us now. Hello. And Twitter are on board again. Twitter folk, if you want to comment and interact, I think if you actually test it, please. Somebody on Twitter, please send me, put a message in the chat. But I know that I can't message you back on Twitter, and that's why I suggest you go to YouTube or Facebook if you prefer. Hold on a minute. I'm just going to do something with the strawberry so that Loz can settle down. Here you go. You like that one now? I think it's going to be time for bedtime. A very full crop. He's finished all the pear, and now giving me the hint that he'd like some more pear. She would like some more pear. Okay, well, I didn't want to do a really long one today. I'm glad to know that you've all got some sort of New Year's wishes. If you haven't put your New Year's wishes in, and your thoughts for, here's another. We're learning here. 18 degrees C is the temp needed before stingless bees will leave the hive. Sounds like we need to get some. I need to do some native bee work for habitat gardening. Hey. So, has anyone else got any thoughts and hopes? I think we'll just leave all the articles and everything alone. We might. I'm thinking. Oh, here's something. What I'm thinking of doing is for these sort of casual conversational streams. Would anyone be interested in one of those each week, but in the evening, not during the day? Just grab a beverage or grab a sandwich and just talk crap. I'm thinking of doing something sort of more aimed at the Twitch crowd in the evening. All right, Glenn. Evenings are better for Glenn. How about you, Naomi, and how about you, Chris and Betty? Because I want to keep sort of to the sort of show formats that are already there quite tightly, and then just have some fun in evenings. So there we go. That's right. And also, you know why evening is a good time to stream in Australia? Because that's when a lot of people in the rest of the world who are working on their day job can sort of pop in and talk as well. It's all right. Evening's good. Evening's fine. Okay, that's looks like we might be working that on. So, just to give you all a bit of a heads up too, is that Twitch is its own world, but a lot of people are making some inroads there, and it's owned by Amazon, so there's opportunities to sort of become self-funding there if you become quite popular. But it's got a whole lot of different trends, and it's really its own sort of community, it's got its own societal norms. So what I really want to do is produce shows that are aimed at Twitch, but you guys I'll stream out, unless people are dropping off. If no one from Twitter is coming on, well then I would be dropping them off, for instance. But Twitch allows for a whole lot more interactivity, like for more than just putting comments in, and can work across with other things like a Discord, which means we can bring in audio and video of others without going through the whole formally inviting guests and things like that. So, oh, good. Naomi, thank you for putting this up. Actually have another wish that the new fake hollows, well, let's call them artificial, work well for gangs. I'm interested to hear if they've been used by these special birds. They're all the cockatoos are special, Naomi. All of them. Some of them are just raucous and far more adaptable than the others. I have there's emails going out next week chasing down all of the different Hollow people to get an update on how things are going, because after the storms, and there's going to be more of them over this summer, no doubt, there'll be more extreme weather events, and Hollows are going to be at a premium. I'm actually working on a video for TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts about the loss of Hollows, and just encouraging people to think a bit beyond the fact that the trees have fallen down and maybe hit houses or fences or cars, but just to consider what those trees represent and the birds that use them. So, yeah, that's yes, Naomi, that's true. Just gang et al. That's isn't that the right terminology for the academics amongst you? Okay, folks. Well, no suggestions for what I should be doing, so that's that kind of means I must be just keep doing what I'm doing, I guess. Let's see, where's everyone from? Who's with us on YouTube? We haven't had a YouTube comment. Who's here? Say hello. And on YouTube, those of you on YouTube, do you watch the shorts? Do you ever look at the YouTube shorts? Are you a bit like me? You just go, nah. I tend not to. I do enjoy TikTok short stuff. I find some really interesting nature and politics stuff there, in amongst all the other pop culture stuff, which couldn't really give a stuff about. But yeah, oh, this bird is just crazy. I really need to get Lozcam going for sure. I'm also going to need some sugar soap, because Loz has made a bit of a mess of the wall. That's why I need a cage. I need a cage. Not that I want him in a cage, but just to contain the mess would be good. Okay, Naomi's watching YouTube Shorts. Okay, well, I'm glad you are, Naomi. Yeah, part of the sort of new workflow is to get more short form content out there that isn't just me talking to the phone, because I think while I like doing that, I think it's got a limited shelf life. I think we're moving beyond that. So, yeah. All right, folks. Well, let's just see if you've got any final thoughts or comments before we wrap up. What's tomorrow? Tuesday. I will not be streaming, I don't think, tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be all getting organised. The next thing that's definite is habitat gardening on Saturday morning, and depending on if people are working and answering emails and stuff during the week, we may get something more. But I'll probably spend the week working on more sort of just videos that go onto YouTube, not live streams, and to catch up and to actually organise the YouTube podcast playlist that I've got to spend a day or maybe two just working on organising all the content which is haphazardly sitting there on YouTube. Folks, thanks for spending New Year's Day, part of it, with me and with Loz, my new team member. Always appreciate you. I really enjoy this little community that we're building here, the Riot Squad. I mention it often. I am working on some merch for the Riot Squad and also for some other, not sort of bird emergency promo stuff, but funny, funny kind of stuff. And taking a different approach to the way sort of t-shirts and things like that are usually, and mugs and all that are usually made. You know, going to be a hot chicks range. I'll let you in on this. Tell me what you think of this. The hot chicks range, and the first one, there's already, I had to send it back a bit to get the thing done, but the rose robin and the pink robin females. They, that might give you an idea of where I'm going with that range. So we'll just see whether people get the gag and appreciate it. Yeah, I do. I've actually spent way too much time working on merch, but I'm in it for the long run, so we'll try and build it up. And yeah, I won't get into it. I'll be rambling on about it all day. Now, very good, Naomi. 215 for the year. Very good. I must admit, I'm so bad at doing listing and numbers and stuff. I kind of want to do it, but I just don't have the bandwidth to worry about it. But keep going. I really love that a bunch of us in this little group have really got into photography and really developing. So that's great. Cool. And special Happy New Year to you, Naomi, and to all the Facebook group, because it's really good work supporting all the newbies. I love it. Great. Chris and my son and I had a great birdwatching day at Serendip Sanctuary. Isn't it good? 60 species, including crested striped tits, nice. Purple crowned lorikeets. Chris, did you hear the purple crowned lorikeets before you saw them? Pink eared ducks, very, very nice. Very good get. Very, very, very good get. I heard some purple crowned lorikeets here the other morning, but I didn't. I heard them when I was in bed, and by the time I chucked some shoes on and got across to the park, they had moved on. But they're rippers. There's been a fair few muskies around here. Haven't seen a little lorikeet in my area for this summer yet. Hopefully they'll come along. Yeah, good on you. Good on you, Chris. Betty, who just don't want to miss anyone. No, I think that's everyone today, and Donna D, and Glenn for the likes, and Katie and Naomi for the Facebook love. There we go, and yeah, they're very good, and nice to see you again, people on Twitter. I wish you'd actually start commenting. That would be nice. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. It's good. Yeah. Yeah. Naomi, generally with the purple crowns, you need some pretty significant reach to get a good shot of them. Yeah, I don't even bother when I can I can see them up in the canopy. I don't even bother yet. Oh, nice. Saw them at Greensboro as well. They're definitely more prominent this summer in Melbourne than last summer. They're certainly around. So, yeah, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, since Bird Week, what was that, October? Yeah, since Bird Week, I've seen them 5 times here, or heard them. Yeah. Oh, you got the 500 now. Oh, got the reach. Oh, fantastic, excellent. We'll have to talk. We'll have to talk photography on a Friday. I think. Actually, you're nearly all into photography some way or another. Would you like me to develop Photography Friday in 2 ways? That we have just a general chat, sharing experiences, maybe showing each other's photos in a stream. That's and continuing with the highlighting someone whose work I really like or admire. So we sort of have the professional photography one, which is a bit more formal, and then we just have like a Friday forum. Maybe that could be fortnightly or monthly. What do you think of that idea? That's really aimed at you, Naomi, but also Glenn as well. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Well, that was what I was thinking. What and the thing I'll tell you the thinking behind it too, Naomi, is that when I watch a lot of photography YouTube, and some people I really really like, just their personality and what they're communicating. But when we get the expert stuff, most of it tends to be geared to selling stuff. You can tell they're all trying to promote a lens or something, and they've all got their affiliate links in the description, and they're all, or they're being sponsored by someone. And while I like the information I get from it, and I appreciate why they're doing it, I don't actually wait for those shows to come up. I wait for I'm really looking forward to new videos dropping or for people going live when I just like hanging out with them as much as learning about their photography. And you know, the other thing maybe we can promote some people who are a long way from being professional photographers, but have a really good sort of sense of the recreational fun you can have tied into nature photography, whether it be birds or wildlife. And it can be very communal and can be a lot of fun. Doesn't have to be competitive and snobby. Anyway, that's my thought with that. So yeah, okay. Because I mean, you'll notice that there'll be more sort of shows under the bird emergency, but the idea is that they're all an attempt to draw a different segment of people into continuing doing what they like to do, but subtly ramming conservation messages down their throat. The angry photographer. Okay, I'll check him out. I don't know the angry photographer. My favourite one that's a bit funny and tongue-in-cheek and snarky is Camera Conspiracies. I love that. I love that channel. And Canadian chap. So very good. And I've been watching him for years, so it's been good to see him develop. So Although he doesn't do live streams, so I can't really jump in and chat with him, unfortunately. Okay. Oh, Chris, good on you. Chris has given us a like as well, so thank you very much for that. Okay, let's just think for another few minutes. I'll pop on some music. What will we have? Let's have. I'll put Feeding the Ducks on, and we'll just chill out and see if you've got anything else to say before we pull up stumps. There'll be more. I'm going to be doing more collaborations. Whether these will multi-stream, I'm not sure, but certainly on YouTube, I'm going to be collaborating more, doing, with more nature content creators and bird people if I can get them, if I can find them on YouTube. Not that there's lots of nature and bird people on YouTube, but there's not many that seem to be live streaming or collaborating. So, in the way that I would like. So, yeah, gee, it's nice. I'm very pleased with how many people have popped in and had a look today. Yeah, great. It's a nice way to kick off the year, and I think. Are any of you still feeling like it's been a very long rut that we've been in? And I'll get hyper personal too again. I mean, just before the pandemic, I had that cancer thing, and so I feel like I've been in a rut since 2017 now. There's just been all that stuff, and then the lockdowns and the stress, and then all the social dislocation and the rubbish that's gone on with the way people have been behaving ever since. And then all the other rubbish that's going on around the world at the moment. So it'd be nice to keep me in check too. I'm really hoping that I can be less publicly annoyed about so many things. I can't promise that's the way it'll go, but I'd like to be less annoyed about more things more often. Okay. I really have to pull up stumps. I really have to do some lorikeet things and prepare for tomorrow. Write a script for another video, edit something, and get ready for Saturday. Because Saturday is where we'll, Habitat Gardening will sort of try out the new way I want to do things, a little bit less shambolic and a bit still fun, but and to tie in with the downloads, the guides that I've been talking about for so long that I haven't actually still worked out the mechanics of that. So we'll get into that. Naomi, yeah. So you felt like you were in a rut until the trip to Victoria and South Australia. Well, becoming a significant rural landowner, very good. I think that's. I've written it on my whiteboard for 2024, and the three-letter word, fun. Betty, 9:30. 9:30 is the regular Habitat Gardening time for that sort of Q&A and the short hit piece where so this time I'll be showing you the list of what I am going to try and grow in the pots in the front yard, and what drove my choices. So that's what that little segment will be, and then the following week I think will be the small parrots episode, and then hopefully by then we'll get back to frogs. So 9:30. update my whiteboard since it's the first of the month today, and set up the streams for the month, the ones that I already know that are going to happen. So we'll pop those in. And yes, so there we are, Betty, 9:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Any further thoughts or comments, folks? Oh, I put the music on, but I didn't loop it. Loop it, Grant. Oh, let's do some dance pop. Oh no, I don't like this one. Someone else I watch on YouTube uses it, and I don't like it. It's I'll stick with feeding the ducks. I like the feeding the ducks. So, counting down. Any other thoughts? Tick, tick, tick. Oh, and if you're one of the Facebook people here and you are on YouTube, please go and subscribe to the Bird Emergency. Easy way to get there, thebirdemergency.com/YouTube will take you straight there. And yeah, when I crack 500, I can start doing a few extra things on YouTube and make things a bit more fun. And then the next aim will be to 1,000, and then once you get, if you ever get to 10,000, then you become like one of the top 10% on YouTube. So it doesn't seem like a big number, but that's just the way it is. So, see you, Naomi. Enjoy the rest of the day. How much of the day have we got left? Oh, not that much. And Betty, Chris, Glenn, go through Katie, Donna. Did I get everyone? Did I not forget? Did I not leave anyone out? Yep. Okay. Alrighty. Happy New Year. 2024. Woo! Woo! Cheers, everyone.